Most people are hard to kill. Rasputin was on a different level entirely. He was poisoned, shot, beaten, and thrown into a frozen river. And historians still argue about which one of those things actually killed him. This is Grigori Rasputin, the mad monk of Russia. And absolutely nothing about his life made any sense. Grigori Rasputin was born in 1869 in a small Siberian village. He was a peasant, poorly educated, rough around the edges, and by his own admission, not exactly a saint in his younger years, but somewhere along the way, Rasputin developed a reputation for something extraordinary: healing, prophecy, a kind of magnetic, almost hypnotic presence that made people, powerful people, believe he had a direct line to God. By the early 1900s, he had made his way to St. Petersburg and into the orbit of the most powerful family in Russia. Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra had a son, Alexei, who suffered from severe hemophilia. Every injury, every bump could be life-threatening. Doctors were helpless. Rasputin somehow made the boy better. Nobody to this day can fully explain how, but Alexandra was convinced Rasputin was sent by God to protect her son. And from that moment on, Rasputin had the ear of the Russian royal family. This did not go over well with basically anyone else in Russia. Rasputin was crude, wild-eyed, and did not behave like someone with access to the Tsar should behave. He drank heavily. He had a rotating cast of devoted female followers. He showed up to aristocratic gatherings looking like he'd just walked out of a Siberian forest, because he basically had. The Russian nobility hated him. The press painted him as a manipulative mystic pulling strings behind the throne. Rumors spread that he and Alexandra were having an affair. Almost certainly not true. But in the chaos of World War I and a crumbling empire, Rasputin became the perfect scapegoat. By 1916, a group of nobles had decided enough was enough. Rasputin had to go. And here is where the story becomes genuinely unhinged. On the night of December 16, 1916, Rasputin was invited to the palace of Prince Felix Yusupov under the pretense of a social visit. The conspirators had prepared food and wine laced with enough cyanide to kill several men. Rasputin ate the cakes, drank the wine, and then kept talking. For hours, the conspirators panicked. One of them shot him at close range. Rasputin fell. They thought he was dead. They went upstairs to figure out what to do next. Rasputin got up, fought his way out of the palace, and made it to the courtyard. They shot him again. Multiple times, he kept moving. They beat him, bound him, and threw him into the frozen Neva River. The autopsy found water in his lungs, suggesting he was still alive when he went into the river. Grigori Rasputin was poisoned, shot multiple times, beaten and drowned, and it took all of that to finally stop him. Rasputin died in December 1916. The Russian royal family he had devoted himself to were executed less than 2 years later. The empire he had whispered in the ear of collapsed entirely. But Rasputin, he became a legend, a myth, a man so difficult to kill that people still argue about what finally did it. History is full of powerful people who shaped empires. Rasputin was a Siberian peasant who walked into one and refused to leave. Subscribe for more stories about history's most unbelievable humans. It only gets weirder. Like, subscribe, and maybe don't invite Rasputin to your dinner party.